What is up, YouTube? Back at it again with another video. I know I've been gone for a while, just a lot's been going on in my life, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about these gains. So, this is a chest and back exercise. This is a very simplified exercise. This whole workout is basically a good beginner chest and back exercise. This is just me slowly just trying to get back in, not necessarily back into the gym, but just back into the swing of things, back into the mentality that I know that I have to get where I need to be. So starting off with the pec deck, as usual, just because that is my go-to, as we all know, to starting my chest exercises. Now, this is just a little bit different. So if you guys look, I'm leaned over just a little more dramatically than I normally am. And that's just because on that pull forward, that weight is pulling against my lats. And since we are trying to always consistently get bigger lats because your lats can never be big enough, that's how I always, like to start my exercises, is anything that's a good mind muscle connection for the lats. And so right after I get done doing that, I end up sitting up and doing about 5 normal reps just to get some more blood all throughout the back. So this is when things start to just get a little bit heavier. If you guys notice, my hands aren't touching. There's a certain point in your journey when you guys are training that certain things just feel better on certain days. So me not going in all the way just felt perfect. And I didn't do a whole lot of reps with these. I was kind of going heavier with them. I didn't feel like reps was the goal for me. So just keeping that in mind, just so you guys, because I know you guys are like, might say, oh, but you usually do 15 or 20 reps. You always switch it up, always going, again, you always listen to your body. Not always do you feel like you can do the same things. And so that's why it's important that you always switch up your routine so that your body never plateaus or gets used to anything. So again, we do the same thing. If you guys look still, I'm very, very lean forward and I'm controlling that weight. I'm not trying to swing it back and forth. I'm trying to dig my elbows backwards into my lats and also into, before I couldn't, but now because you get used to exercises and you become a little bit stronger, I'm able to feel my lower back as well. So after those warm-up exercises, we go into the lat pull down. If you guys look, the bar is very much more in front of me than it normally is. And that's just because now that I'm really, really focusing on certain body parts, I've noticed that in this position for me, this is just the best position for me to feel my entire back, including my lats. And that's just the perfect spot for me. That was the sweet spot, you could say, for me to feel the stretch and the squeeze all throughout my back. Right after that, we go into dumbbell press. Nothing fancy here. All we're trying to do is feel the stretch and the squeeze, and we're trying to go as heavy as we possibly can. Okay, these two exercises I just love to do in combination because I just feel like they're very, very amazing staples for developing a great chest and back. A lot of people wonder, well, why am I watching a lot of the same things? Well, it's just because if you don't do the basics, then trying to do fancy things there's no point in it. You should know how to perform a dumbbell press or a lat pull down in it sounds funny, but 11 different ways, just because not all the time are you going to feel the same. And I'm really just putting that out there just because with me, especially with back, and if you guys look, my form is just a lot different than I normally train. And that's just because you find out, this works a little bit more for me than this at this moment in time. I don't always train the same. Like even for legs, I can do 315 pounds for squats. And I haven't done them in about 2 years, but my legs are bigger than they ever were. So it's always just, I always say it always just depends on your journey. So with those lat pull downs on the last clip, what I was doing was I'm really at a point where I'm trying to challenge myself just with even the most littlest thing. So instead of doing drop sets and crazy heavy sets or anything like that, what I did was, okay, let me do a 2 second squeeze at the bottom. And I never really do that with back. I haven't done that kind of technique in about 2 years. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to really make my body consistently guess. I could tell that my body kind of got very comfortable. So now it's at that point where it's like, okay, now I really, really got to make my body do things that it's genuinely not used to. Even there with the dumbbell press, I do get a good squeeze and kind of maybe hold it for like half a second to a second. And then on the way up, when I stomp my hands halfway through or my arms, and I'll hold the squeeze for about a half a second. And that's just trying to do a mind muscle connection, just because since a mind muscle connection trick, and that's just something that I do because I can feel my body consistently, and because there's not a lot of heavy weight there, I just felt like that was the most accurate way to kind of use those dumbbells to my advantage. Now, if you guys look at this variation now, it's slightly like a pullover. I'm bringing it in front of me, and you guys can't see, but from this angle, you guys can see my elbows are not flared out towards my back. They're more forward. But as the weight comes down, I'm slightly trying to dig my elbows into my lats. That was just an amazing finisher, just to definitely make sure that whatever was left in the lat pull down, I got done with it. And then by this point, it was just for the dumbbell press, just dishing out as much as I can. Whatever I got, I'm just gonna leave it all right here. So this is when we're gonna get a little, a little fancy, I guess you could say. So here, if you guys look, I'm very much exaggerating the range of motion on the way down. And that's just because I'm trying to force all the tension and the stretch into my lower back. And then from there, I come up and I'm squeezing. This is bent over bar Smith machine row. And the reason why it's a bent over is because you do need to bend over, and that's why that range of motion looks the way that it does. Now, if you guys look, I will not be doing the same. I will be doing the same weight, and I don't do a lot of reps with that one. And it's just because it is a very, very meticulous, tedious exercise that you really need to pay attention to all throughout the entire exercise. So I get about 8 good, decent, heavy reps into it, and I call it a day. Anything else, and then my lower back starts to kind of like bother me, or I can't breathe as much, and that's just me. Okay, so that's why I do that. Right after that, we go into the Smith machine bench press flat. And here, if you guys look, at a certain point, I was just thinking I could dish it out, and I stopped myself halfway through and said, okay, well, that's not working. What can I do? So here, if you guys look, I'm taking my time with especially the negatives on the way down. I always say that bench press is the most important part about it is the negative. Not necessarily the squeeze at the top, but just all through the stretch. This was my last set here, and if you guys look, I did add 25 pounds. By this point, I just started doing normal Smith machine rows, and it was just because my back was lit. Let's go with that. Like, my back was done. There was nothing left, so I did like a perfect amount. So I was, you tell yourself, okay, well, what can I do? And I might as well just dish out everything. So then by the 4th set, I was just pumped. I'm like, okay, these techniques are really, really changing up the game. I feel great. I feel different. Different is good. So by this point, I'm just freestyling. And there is no issue with freestyling or listening to yourself when you go into the gym. A lot of people think you need to go in with a game plan, and I do very much agree with that. But sometimes you need to have a plan B. Jay Cutler, he even himself said that he never knew exactly what he was going to do when he got to the gym until he got there. And I'm one of those people, most definitely. I'll look and I'm like, okay, this feels good. And even, especially sometimes like it may do due to the fact that there's a lot more people in the gym, so now I have to accommodate. But mainly I always just go based off, okay, how do I feel right now? What does my body feel like it needs to do? And then, you know, when you go into the bathroom and you go and you look at yourself and you're looking at your physique, even from there you can kind of see like, okay, like my chest looks a little bit wider, but it needs more fullness, it needs this, it needs that, my back needs this, and so it's important that you do those things and that you kind of just listen to yourself, because you need to you do need to be in tune with your body. That way you know when adjustments need to be made. Okay, so right here, this is the dumbbell pullover. You're squeezing your chest on the way back and on the and forward. That's one of my favorite chest exercises. That one I don't always feel, and that one I do recommend if you don't have shoulder issues. After that, we go into narrow grip cable pullovers. I love these. My lats have been growing very, very well lately, and I feel like it's just due to these. Like, I don't do these. I haven't been doing these at the end of my exercises. Today or this day I ended up doing it, but this exercise in this particular form, I just very much love. If you guys look, I'm not bringing that cable all the way through, and that's just because for me, when I go halfway, I feel like my lats are completely flared out, nice and squeezed, and it's kind of like a consistent tension thing that I try to do. I'm trying to force myself to be able to hit a good lat pose without having to do a full range of motion. I feel like that just in itself helps develop your body a lot better, especially in what we do, which is bodybuilding, which is all about posing. So I feel like when you're performing exercises and you can hit those poses in the right way and make it a lot harder, then not only when you go into a show will you be able to do those poses a lot better, but then I just feel like that just altogether just is a lot better and a lot more efficient. That's just my opinion. But here we just simplify, just 2 last exercises. Underhand pull downs. We're using those elbows to dig into our lats and squeeze the entire back. And then after that, we go into a body weight exercise, the assistant dip machine. Nothing too fancy here, the same thing that you guys always see. Okay, you guys let me know what you guys want to see more of, what you guys want to see less of. I will be uploading another video soon in about 4 days. I'm very happy to announce that we are at 1,500 subscribers. This has been a very good year, and I really couldn't have gotten this far without you guys. I really thank you guys. Please let me know what you guys want to see more and less of. And thank you guys for being very active in the comment section. That definitely helps. All right. I will see you guys later. Take it easy.